Reading the first 5 verses of Peter, 4th chapter, 1st epistle. Forasmuch then as Christ hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of God. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excessive wine, revellings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excessive wrath, speaking evil of you, who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead. Now this, of course, is addressed to a Christian. And I might, for the sake of refreshing our knowledge, define again a Christian as one who has fled for refuge to Christ, who has identified himself with Christ, and has received life from Christ. Now that's stating in other language what is meant by believing on Christ. There are 3 prepositions: to Christ, with Christ, from Christ, if you'll remember these. That a Christian is one who has fled for refuge to Christ. It is not cowardice that makes us flee for refuge when we are in grave peril. It would be moral recklessness amounting to insanity. Where a man were in 50 degrees below zero weather, and he knew a few feet away, half a mile away, there might be a shelter, who would boldly stand still and freeze to death rather than seek refuge in the shelter. So a moral being in a moral universe, who knows that his sins have imperiled him forever, and learns that there is in the Rock of Ages a refuge for sinners, he is not a brave man who refuses that refuge. He is a moral fool. So I do not hesitate to say that a Christian is one who has fled for refuge to Jesus Christ. And having fled to Christ, he has identified himself with Christ completely. His identification has become such that wherever Christ is, he wants to be. Whatever Christ stands for, he wants to stand for. Whatever Christ is against, he wants to be against. Christ's friends, he wants to be his friends. Christ's enemies, he is willing should be his enemies. The work Christ is interested in, he wants to do. What Christ is not interested in, he takes very lightly and gives little attention to. He has identified himself with Christ. And Christ has given him life. For this is not mental, it's spiritual. Christ has given life to this man, and I will give him eternal life, and no man is able to pluck him out of my hand. And thus he has life. He has received life from Christ. He has identified himself with Christ, and he has fled for refuge to Christ. Now there are